time out of your day to come to this meeting today. It's a very important meeting, and I'm so thankful that you all didn't allow the rain to stop you from coming. But we know even when it rains, it blossoms the beautiful flowers, right? So we're here to just plant the seed, make sure that it's the right seed that our communities have, so we can make sure the right information is given out so it'll grow correctly, right? So the purpose of this meeting, as we instructed previously and said, that we wanted to make sure that the community was informed on any decisions that's made with YFD, and to make sure that we have your input, and that's very important for me as a council representative, that I hear from my constituents that I represent. So we wanted to host this session to just talk about, share and dialogue about what would you like to see in the Glenwood community, Glenwood YFD Center. If you would like to relocate, if that's your thing, once you take the tour, what will be the benefits of it? Just weigh the pros and the cons. Because we can't make a sound decision, and it's anybody. And like, you can't make a sound decision based on just one perspective, right? You have to have the whole view of it. So I'm a person that truly believes when you have the whole visual picture to see it. So in my mind, when I come in, I see all kind of positive things, and this will be a place that I would want to come to. Now, my constituents may feel like, I may want to do something else, right? But we have to allow you that opportunity to voice your concerns. Because at the end of the day, we're all going to work together. We're going to work through and figure out what's best for the Glenwood community and our kids that we serve as well. So I'll turn it over to Coach Jennings.
Thank you, Councilwoman Glenwood. I am Lerone Jennings, and I'm the Administrator for Youth and Family Development. And we've been getting a lot of phone calls and a lot of concern and some information that was not correct. So we're here today, number one, to make sure you understand what the process that we're going through and what is the right information at this time. And then hear from you and get your feedback input. Also, we have a little presentation of the possible of the facility, and then we'll do a tour for those who are interested in seeing more of this facility. So Mara Sullivan, who's our Chief Operating Officer, nothing can happen in the city of Chattanooga without Mara's approval. She's the business person, the mayor's approval, but the business side of things goes to Mara. So I want you to hear from Mara, for those of you who've been hearing things that may not be true, so that you know that this process is a process that you're a part of, and we haven't jumped the gun on doing anything that the community has not had any input in. So Mara, you want to lay it?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Councilwoman Coonrod. I am happy to be here with you today and to share with you what has happened, and I'm so sorry that many of you have heard things that just aren't where we are right now. So where we are right now is that we have a facilities assessment coming up next year in our budget, if our council approves it, where we'll go through all of our facilities, including all of our YFD centers, and we'll take a look at their health. And we know that Glenwood Center, just from our internal review of the center, that it is going to need a new gym floor in probably the next 5 to 8 years, that it's going to need new HVAC, it's going to need some roof work. So, that's just one thing that we know about the Glenwood Center. And so we're looking at any repairs that are going to be needed throughout our system. That's what we need to do, right? That's what you do in your own house, your own business. You look at what repairs are going to be needed. And so that's one piece. We're just looking at repairs that are going to be needed. And then we have a partnership all at the same time, just to give y'all an idea. I'm just being as honest with you as I can be. I'm just laying out what has happened, what conversations have been had, so that you can meet me where I already am. So we had conversations with our partner here in Orange Grove. They are our partner on recycling efforts. And so we were doing recycling work with them. We're phasing out some of the recycling work. And the Orange Grove folks said, hey, we've got a lot of space because we're redoing our mission. we're looking at our mission differently, and we have a lot of space. So if you know of anyone that might need space for any programs, any needs, please send them our way. And because y'all come in contact with a lot of people in the community. So sure, we'd love to. So then we came to a point in our zoo program that we were looking to expand our zoo program. And the zoo program was going to expand to an area where the powerhouse gym is and the UT seating facility and some administrative offices. And we were going to need to move that powerhouse gym. And so we started thinking, oh, the Orange Grove folks told us they had some space and it's in the area. So we came over and just did some due diligence walkthroughs and looked at it. And the zoo said that we don't need to move. We're not going to continue on with that. We're not going to move as quickly as we thought with our Africa exhibit. So you don't need to move the powerhouse gym for about 5 years. So great. There's this wonderful space over at Orange Grove, and we started thinking about what else we could do. And then we just asked if they would have, really, what are y'all talking about space? And they said, whatever you want. And that literally, folks, is as far as we've gotten. Literally. And I do hope that you will believe that you will take what I'm saying as the honest truth, because it is. We have not talked about numbers. We have not talked about dates of moving. Their board has had, the executive director went to their board and said, would we entertain the idea of the city moving in if we came to an agreement? And the board said, absolutely. And that's really as far as we've gotten. We did have a conversation with our neighbor around the Glenwood Center when we started thinking, what could we use this space for? And we thought maybe some Glenwood programming could come here. And we had a neighbor, the Notre Dame neighbor, we asked if we did move at any point Glenwood programming, would y'all be interested in Notre Dame? And the only reason in purchasing that building if we moved programming. And the only reason that we asked Notre Dame that is because the mayor made it very, very clear to Coach Jennings and I that he did not want to leave that Glenwood building empty, because he wanted that Glenwood building to be an active part of an active community and an active neighborhood. So we just wanted to be sure that it would be a marketable building for the neighborhood if we even went down this road. So we're not at a point, it's not in next year's budget proposal for fiscal year 2020 that we would do any sale or construction or moving here. But we are investigating, and we're at a point now since y'all are here, that we can get some feedback, which is exciting. I'm glad to get some feedback to see if we should even continue on down the road of investigating any type of moving programs or moving the entire center. And I want to be really, really clear about this, that we would never, ever close Glenwood Center without having a place for any programs to go, for all of the programs, for all of Glenwood's programs and impact to go. So, and we're not looking at closing Glenwood for any financial reason or even because the maintenance costs are too high or anything like that, because we haven't even gotten the facilities survey back on all of our centers yet. So without, I just wanted you to hear from me that this is, a year or two away, just so you know that if we did look at, so if we did go down the road and the Glenwood Center was something that, an asset that we decided to move the program somewhere else and we were going to sell the building, there would be a very public process of surplusing the building, and that would go through a neighborhood meeting, it would go to the Planning Commission, and then it would go to the City Council, and then there would be an RFP for sale, so a request for proposal for sale. So it's, all of that would take several months, So we're really super early in the process, but I'm glad for you all to be a part of that now. And Chairman Oglesby has just come in. Thank you, Chairman Oglesby, for being here as well. And so we're going to just show you. So I just wanted you to hear the background and how we've gotten to where we are, which is not really anywhere. And I'm sorry that you feel like something has happened and that we're about to do something, but we're not. So, but it's okay for us to still be at a point where, where we can start dreaming and start looking and start thinking. And I'm excited to be able to be a part of that with you today. And Coach, would you like to say anything else, or would you like Jason McKinney to? Jason. Okay. Jason McKinney, our Deputy Administrator of the Youth and Family Development. He's put together a little slideshow that I hope that we can see with the lights on, that just shows how big this building is, so you can see it on a map, so we don't have to walk the entire thing. But Orange Grove has politely said that we can do that. And Jason's going to just acquaint you with the building. Yes, ma'am. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Dr. Holmes. Yes.
Is it possible I can say a couple of things before he shows this?
Yes, absolutely.
Yay, Miss Evelina.
I just wanted to take this time to sort of follow up on what's already been said. When I learned about this at the East Chattanooga improvement meeting, one of our officers shared the information at the meeting. When I got home, I sent out an email. Most of you know my Keeping You Informed email. And it said, I heard about the grapevine. I don't know whether it's true or not. Tell me it's not. But we were told that the building had been sold to Notre Dame, and we would now be using the facility at Orange Grove. Now, that's what was told at that ECI meeting. And I was contacted by the news media, and of course, you know the rest of the story. But several council people also called me and said they didn't know about it. So I'm not going to go into anything else. I'm going to let you have your own dialogue. But I wanted you to know how the news got out. How many of you knew about this before my Keeping You Informed went out? You knew about it before then? One person. You knew about it before then? One person. I see one hand. Where? I don't see you not raising it high enough. Okay, I only see two hands. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Holmes.
Okay, my job today is to try to kind of show the layout of what Orange Grove, what it has to offer here. I don't know how many of you have been to this building before to know kind of layout and just the background history of it. But I'm going to kind of show you this. And then there's some dialogue this morning about what's occurring here and where all the current citizens that use the services here, where they've been at. But a lot of the work that was done here has now been moved off of campus and it's out throughout the community. That has been driven from federal mandates and federal changes of how the funding structure of serving those with disabilities has occurred. So that's kind of what's created some of the vacancies and the openings of the usage of the building here. This right here is a diagram of the Orange Grove campus. There you go, kind of sees a little bit better, but the layout is on my left, on your right is the north, that's north, and then towards me is the south area. Where you came in at, if you came in through the south by the pool, it's kind of down there at the bottom corner. Yes?
I'm sorry,
Good.
but anyone correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm not trying to be rude. I respect everything that goes on here at Orange Grove, but It seems to me that most of these people are here to have dialogue about the Glenwood YFD Center and not necessarily a promo for Orange Grove, because the way I understood the invite, it was to discuss the Glenwood Center, and it was originally, people were trying to have it at that center, and it was moved here. So if we could kind of move into that, I think a lot of people would appreciate that a lot more than what you're fixing to use up time on.
Actually, can I speak on behalf of Glenwood? I'm Billy Reynolds. I'm the Glenwood president for 2019. I had requested that we have a year to see what the move would look like. So my intention was to give them an opportunity to show us what the move would look like. So I was trying to do that on behalf of the neighborhood. So that was kind of where that came from, just so you know.
Okay.
Can we have that at the end? Would it be proper to have that at the end and let the dialogue come first from the community, please? We can still see that at the end, but I think the dialogue is more important in hearing what the community has to say first.
Yeah, we don't want to see that.
Okay, I mean, I was just going to show the layout of what is here, so if that is not, if people don't want to entertain the idea that, that's wrong. Okay. All right, sound good?
Turn the lights on. Yeah, if everyone would like to, so if folks would like to speak or ask a question, I hate for everyone not to be able to hear and share, and I don't have a portable mic. Could I request that you come up to the microphone? Yeah, I don't know if the mic will move there.
I grew up in Glenwood.
Go up to the mic.
I can speak loud enough. I think you can hear me. I grew up here in this community. I grew up in Glenwood Center. My kids grew up in Glenwood Center from till when they come home. They still go to the Glenwood Center. And the center is like, and I'm talking about the location, it's like a safety net for this community. I mean, where it's located is in the middle of the community. Growing up here, we didn't consider this Glenwood. When you crossed Derby Street, you were in Archinard. This wasn't a part of Glenwood. I went to school at Glenwood Elementary, right across the street. But it's like, somebody's taking part of the heart out of the community, because we feel safe sending our kids.
Power is supposed to be about. Political representation is supposed to be about moving on behalf of the people, not certain private interests, not a particular section or economic background of the city, but doing it even on the most poor parts of our city, even the most blackest parts of our city. And why is it we only seem to see city support or city interest if it equates to us moving out of our neighborhood? It's baffling, folks. We know what the city has done with quote-unquote surplus buildings. If you don't know, atmchat.org with Helen Burns Sharp, you can see what they do with surplus buildings. The city seems to find money for everything that it wants to do. We got a new park downtown, didn't we? Why can't we find money for our youth? What are those youth in Glenwood going to do? What does that mean? They're going to get in trouble if they have nothing to do, right? Which means that they're going to do what? Go to jail, right? I don't hear no feedback. That's okay. My uncle said it might be tight, but it's right. Our Avondale Center is not going to be open, I believe, until September. So we already have a section of our black community where children are not going to have a center that they can really go to and play in one part. And are we going to allow that to happen in Glenwood? Let's not be crazy, family. If they were already in negotiations with Notre Dame, that means that they had identified a buyer. That means that they had already had conversations. That means that they had already had private meetings. And so if it wasn't for us being in certain rooms at certain times because God is so good, we would not have known about this, and we would have cracked open a Chattanooga Times free press and found out that it was already sold little too late. I'm just saying, family, enough is enough. mayor don't have the guts, I'm gonna say it like this, if the mayor don't have the guts to make a firm decision as a man and stand in front of the people and at least tell us the truth about what he's doing, then we need to fight back.
Give yourself a hand to come out. This is what we do. But now that we know, now that we're here, my main reason for coming up here is to really encourage everybody, as you have come here, come to the neighborhood association, one of the executive officers. Let me say this again. Come to the neighborhood association meetings. We have them every fourth Thursday of the month, except for November and December, where we have, because of the holidays, we have on the 3rd. So everything has been said, a lot has been said. So now, let's do business. Let's do business. So that's the only thing I'm requesting. Let's do business. They got a vision. The association and the residents have a vision for this neighborhood. Let's do business. And we have a web page. The web page is set up. I was noticing that you were shaking your head in disagreement that conversations had already started and negotiations with Notre Dame. Would you like to speak to that?
Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, again, I'm Maura Sullivan, if anyone came in later. It was stated that negotiations had already begun with Notre Dame, and they have not. I said that earlier. Please do not take the passion of community leaders as gospel truth. It is not always, but I do appreciate your being here today and being a part of your community and standing up for your community, because that's what makes us a great city and makes it a city that we all want to live in. And we have not gone through negotiations with anyone. We have had very, very exploratory conversations and just looking for options that may be fruitful and may not be. So, but I appreciate hearing the great things about the Glenwood neighborhood from all of you, and hearing what you want from your neighborhood and what you need for your neighborhood. That's what I'm really excited most about hearing today. So I appreciate the passion and appreciate you all being here.
Thank you, Maura.
And I think it would just be a question of what does negotiation mean? If there's an initial contact with an entity that you're wanting to talk to, is that the beginning of a negotiation? Is it saying if you have interest in purchasing the building, we just are doing some preliminary investigation, is that the beginning of negotiation? So I guess that would be where the misunderstanding with you is how and when and what definitions we have in terms of negotiation. Right, okay. So, I live in Glenwood, 351 Derby Circle, been there about 22 years at this point, but have lived most of my life and grew up in Chattanooga. Went to Clifton Hill, Calvin Allison, Alden Park in 1980, graduated class of Howard High School. Coach Jennings was actually my coach, and he also taught me driver's ed at Howard High School. And I distinctly remember as a student at Howard not knowing or even understanding what racism was, because most and all of my teachers were black. They looked like me. They taught me that I had to be 5 pounds better if I was just going to compete with my white counterparts. They taught me a lot of things, and more importantly, they cared. They cared about who I was and what my success. I didn't meet my real dad until I was about 25. But Coach Jennings, Mr. Sharp, Mr. Lott, and I can go on with the black males that were in those schools that were my boss. And my one question, and I'll continue after that, is who's going to be in charge if it is moved here? Will it be Orange Grove that's running it? Will it be the YMCA that's running it? Who are the authority figures that will be in this space if it is moved here?
Thank you, Rick, for reminding me how old I am.
You can just graduate. I'm a senior, so that's 6 years apart.
Yeah, it's good. Thank you. We're proud of your success as well, and how you operate in the city. Well, the question is who would be in charge? If we end up down that road, and that's such a long way off, if that happens, there would be some type of arrangement where the space would belong, or certain parts of this building would be belong to, or would be leased to, or whatever it end up being to the city of Chattanooga. And our staff would be in charge. We won't come into a building or any community and not have complete authority to work with our children and families and the programs that we're responsible for. So if we end up going down that road, to answer your question, we would still have a team of staff, a group of people that care about this community, care about our department, care about the students and families, that will continue to develop programs and provide services that will help people develop to be the best that they can be. So we have a responsibility to make that happen.
I have a question. What kind of programs do we have going on at YFD centers abroad that generally span all of the neighborhoods? Are there programs that are in place now? Are there programs that used to be and are not? And why? And how do we look toward the future to keep, perpetuate the concept of youth and family development?
Well, there are programs. Each facility manager has the responsibility of developing programs in conjunction with that neighborhood and that community, the things that they feel like they would like to have and could benefit from. And we have the responsibility of supporting that facility staff, that neighborhood, based on what's recommended to us that those communities want, and how we can go about providing those programs that the community is crying out for.
So you provide a budget, and if so, what kind of budgeting system goes into supporting the youth and family development centers for these programs to outreach into our neighborhoods to support those families?
Yeah, each center has a budget based on the programs, staff, and facility maintenance, and all of that goes into their budget. So programs are budgeted, the staff is budgeted, facility maintenance is budgeted, utilities, all of that makes up the budget for that community. Some community centers are smaller and medium sized, and then we have super centers where budgets are expanded. So it just depends on that center and the programs and the staff and the size of the center that will make up the budget for that center.
Because I've been in touch with, I'm with Boy Station Neighborhood Association, and I've been in touch with our Youth and Family Development Center, East Chet, next site it used to be. And all I ever hear is how underfunded they are. That's the only thing I ever hear from them. And the sorts of children that independently flow in and out without actual on-hand programs. It's a problem in my neighborhood. So,
and while I appreciate your question, I think we're just deferring just a tiny bit from what we're here for, which is talk about the
well, if you give me a second,
I would suggest strongly that you make a set of a meeting to talk about what the allegations for or the budgeting is for the entire YFD center and not
Right.
Right,
and that's kind of my point that I want to get to, is it's my understanding that the concept of YFD centers was to support the neighborhoods. And it's my concern that if the path goes down for Glenwood to be shifted around property-wise and location-wise as a program, I'm concerned that it may set a trend, honestly, instead of funding for actual support in the communities. And if you start moving one center, what's to prevent that trend from going over into other centers? And what impact is that going to have on my community? And everyone's, for that matter.
I mean, those questions obviously, make perfectly good sense. However, right now, you guys haven't even asked how much it's gonna take to bring back the, Glenwood, and this guy's about to tell it. Right now, the people inside this room don't even, they say they haven't even entered into a conversation to even talk about the covenant of the building. By you being here, interrupting this meeting, you're robbing the community of Glenwood for being able to organize something for themselves to make sure that they're included. And you should be
No, I'm
fighting for your
supporting
community the same way. Give these people, they don't have all day to be here. Give these people opportunity to ask questions that they want to ask. You got to have respect for the individual. And until we start
I have
respecting
all
one
due respect.
another, but this is not your meeting. This is not your meeting.
Okay, so that we can, so that I can, and this is a very short point that I want to make. I think the gentleman who spoke about what the center itself meant, and yes, we can talk all day about the physical, in terms of which building it's in, but along with the physical goes emotional and other things that we are fighting for at this point, as we do continue to see our neighborhoods gentrified and how we're losing any type of hold we have in those neighborhoods. So Glenwood is more than just a center. It's more than just a building. Like your churches should be more than a building. The neighborhood center is more than a building. And if we're going to change it to the Orange Grove Center, then we've lost part of that because there is an identity that the Glenwood neighborhood has. And it's not continuing to be called Glenwood. We have a sense of pride, we have a sense of ownership, we have a sense of a lot of different things. So if it becomes the Orange Grove Center, we've lost that, but just simply by changing the name. Right? So that's one of the points that I need to make. The other is, thank you for the explanation about that we will have Ed and others, and Shirley, that were there. We have to have people that look like our black kids that are in those centers, that are in authority positions. My fear for moving here, if there is some relationship between Orange Grove and the YMCA, is that police and other people might be called if for some reason our black kids aren't behaving in the manner that they think they should be. And so that's one option, that question of who's in authority in this particular space, because we know it's happened. We've had Councilwoman Coonrod had police called on her walking through Highland Park, campaigning because she was a black woman walking. Okay, so I'm concerned that that same kind of a thing would happen, so maybe you can speak to that as well. The other thing that I just want to say too is that we as black people need our own spaces. I have an article by L.C. Blackwell that says that black people need their own spaces. Black people need their own spaces. We need places in which we can gather and be free from the mainstream stereotypes and marginalizations of white people, right? And so Glenwood is a safe space, as the gentleman said. It's a place where we can go. Currently, it's predominantly, if not all black, in terms of the people that utilize the center. Our young men and women need to see black faces in authority. They need to feel safe. They need to know that they're not going to have a police call on them. They need to know that their loud behavior is not going to warrant them being arrested. So we need that safe space. That's why it's more than just a building. While the facility may be doing what it's doing, it's more than that. It's the love that Ms. Shirley gave. It's the love that Ed gives. It's the love that everyone else that comes into that center gives those kids in terms of that support. Right, so it's more than a building. The other, it definitely is our roots. The other thing is that we, while we're continually losing hold on our communities, this is an opportunity for us, and for people showing up here today, that we need to keep the center there. Let's make the repairs. Let's not change.
Hello, everyone. I just want to let everybody know that at one time, this rec center was used as a college rec center. Also, it was deemed a United Way Reading Center. Also, it was a polling place. Lots of money has gone into this rec center, and nothing has come out of it. I say it's time for the community to see the return investment and all that money that has been put into these places. You know, Glenwood's on the historical registry, which means if they were to put money in this building, it would be eligible for a tax incentive as well. So the city should think about keeping these assets, these public assets, into public hands and stop turning them over to private investors.
It's been great being all so very much. As our neighboring president, yeah.
I have one question with that.
Yes, sir.
Why was the staff given an outdate for August 2nd?
Yeah, that's, it should not have been. There is no outdate. There couldn't be an outdate.
Yeah, lastly, if we're gonna go through all of the building, now we're gonna go to deal with releasing, right? We're gonna release the property over here, right?
That would be the idea, if we went down that road, and that's a financial consideration that is definitely a
Well, it
part of
seems
the
so.
equation.
She thinks it's only an hour's meeting.
And whether or not
It
we
needs
want
to
to
go
do
on
that.
further.
And, yeah, that is, we're
You
just
need
looking
to
at
say
the possibilities.
some other people
Again,
need to speak.
I'm sorry that some people are shaking their heads and don't believe me on that, but it truly is just a part of the equation that we would go through. But I would like to hear from the neighboring president and let him have a say at this point. And
Are you getting ready to close this down?
we were, yes, ma'am.
Well, I think there are a lot of people gonna be. Yeah, that was the question here.
Oh.
Yeah, a lot of people. And we're not ready to hear from the president.
Okay.
We wanna hear from the people.
Okay. All right, thank you so much.
Thank you, Maura, thank you, Coach, thank you all the staff of the administration that showed up, and our council people that are here. I'm James Brantley, and I actually live in the neighborhood. I'm on Glenwood Drive, and I actually enjoy sitting on my porch in the mornings and the afternoons and seeing the young folks and the seniors and the older folks who are taking their exercise class going up and down Glenwood Parkway and up and down Glenwood Drive. It is actually one of my delights as I sit there after work. As many of you may know, I work at the zoo. To this gentleman right before me who said that there's nothing good that has come out of Glenwood, I can tell you there are lots of great young folks that have come out of that community based on that community center and based on that community support. We have been in Glenwood now for 29 years. Rick was my sister's teacher. You think about legacy, you think about this community, you think about those who come back here. Remember, I came back here 6 years ago from Boston, working at a zoo, come back to our local zoo, bring it back up to where it needs to be, and to live back in the community, and we brought so much joy to my mother. And I think about my mother and her home, and I think about Glenwood and the friends that she made in this community. And I think about all those other mothers. And I look at where I live right now. Look around my house. 4 of us have lost our mothers. And guess what? All 4 of us still own our mother's homes. It not only to our own prosperity, it is our commitment to a community that is growing and thriving and changing and wanting to be a part of that change. And wanting to be a part of that change and part of that legacy is to share these stories. So it pains me to think that someone would think that regardless of the services that have gone through Glenwood Center, that nothing has happened and nothing good has happened from that center. I go up there now during the springtime and in the summertime. I'm elated to see those raised bed gardens. See that our kids are out there planting seeds that are going to be fruit that the rest of our fruits and vegetables that the rest of us neighbors can partake in. I love when there is an issue that happens in Glenwood, and by chance I'm in a position to help smooth that issue out. Be it the driving up and down the road, be it the school buses that aren't stopping, or the people who aren't stopping for those school buses early in the morning, be it the folks who, and I'm not sure if you're here, but if you are, you're going to hear today, if you park on your sidewalk, or if folks who come to your party, you park on the sidewalk, I'm calling the cops. Because I have neighbors, and even as I get older myself, I can't navigate walking out in the street when there's a sidewalk right there. So I'm happy that you guys took the time out on a Saturday afternoon in the rain to come out to explain this to us. I'm sorry for the citizens in our community that aren't quite getting it yet, because this is only the opening of a discussion as far as I am concerned. I am very concerned. I feel like I have really good friends in city government, but beyond that, I have my own voice. I own my own home, so I'm paying taxes in this city. So I have a right to say whatever I want to. Of course, I have this guy right here teaching me a lot too. But at this point, right now, what I'm telling you is that it's a discussion. I'm sure that we have lots to discuss.
We need to get it on the table. But as Rick mentioned, and I think as Billy mentioned, for us to have a unified voice, show up at the Glenwood Neighborhood Association meetings. Show up not when show up when we need you. We need you all the time. There's lots going on in this neighborhood, and we need your support.
I came with a book. Well, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
My name is Jacqueline Daniel Simpson. I live at 312 Glenwood Drive. I moved there in 1971. I was one of the 4 blacks that lived on Glenwood. We were on the corner of 4th Street. We were the tribes, white neighbors, front and back. So I've seen a change in the community. They moved out, they coming back. Now I'm telling you what I know. No, I do not want to sell the clothes down.
No, I don't want
That's
to
number one.
No.
I did not, what I had wrote down, I come to bash the mayor. So I put this face up and erased it out. This is the way I felt when I came in. Ugly. So, I'm going to give you a little history of itself, of what it's all about, and the reason why I do not want it closed down. I work there. Well, I'm an employee, ex-employee of the city for 35 years, because I worked 2.5 years under you. Part-time, whole country. 33 otherwise. We started out in the building. First, all the employees that have worked at Glenwood, hold your hands up, stand up, Lexi, David Crutcher, Ed Oldham. Come on now, don't play. Doug and all y'all. Look, everybody, well, we've seen the color change. I was there when they increased it, but, made it a little bit larger, a little bit. But I know you can take nothing and make something if your heart is in it. Now, you got to want to do something. Now, when I went in on that job, and I went in there with a vengeance that I didn't like the way it was ran before me. So to keep from complaining of how it was ran, I ran it my way.
There you go.
You came into the door, and on the outside of that door said, hats off, pants up. That's my law. Okay? That's what you started off with. When you came into the door, you was welcome with, hello, may I help you? Good afternoon. That was to the children. This was an institution of learning when they came in there. I can't help what go on outside this building, but when you come in here, you're going to be taught and you're going to be damn right. Every day, homework was done. This was before the Lexus program ever existed. By the way, they stole it from me. I wrote myself. No, we did not have computers. This was with pencil and paper. Every child's homework was done by the time the parents picked them up in the evening. During the summer, we kept a file on everybody. You had your reading list. I go to the school, I get a list of first grade, second grade. This is the list of books that had to be read. Okay, you're going to read. And when you go back, you got a file. Here's your file. Turn it in to your teacher. This is no lie. This is real stuff. This will be on city paper head. So when they come in the evenings, parents pick them up, the children have had their homework and ate. Yeah, I stayed broke. I cooked. After school program, this is not what they get now. They had real meals. They get off the bus on report card day. It is a cooked meal, a full course cooked meal. During the summer, we had cookout, for real cookouts. Yeah, I begged everybody. Miss Murray, can you bring me some hot dogs? Can you cook some slaw? Can you give me a couple of hot dog buns? Miss Hazel, how can you help me out with the twins? Am I right or wrong, Miss Hazel? So it was that way. No, I do not want that building shut down.
No, I don't want to shut down.
I do not want it shut down. In that building is a library that was dedicated to me. I got the books, not
Not the city. Not the city.
I got the books, and I'm gonna tell you how I did that. A summer work I had was a librarian up at Birchwood, Miss May McClarty. I said, you know what, we need some books. She said, I agree. She said, I'm gonna show you how to do it. We had a book sale. It was Troll Book Company at the time. They sent the books, and you sell them, and you can buy your books to get your library started. I said, oh, that's great. We got the books, we didn't have no shelves. New City Fellowship, down there with Brandon Neighbor, sent a crew up there, they built the shelves. Now I'm begging. I'm straight up begging. They built the shelves, we put the books up. The next year we were going to have the book sale, Scholastic Book Company, all out troll. They said, oh, just keep the books and we're going to send you another. So every book up there belongs to that Glenwood Center. They all sell Glenwood Center. But that's how our reading center got started. So my name is up there. I wanted to speak. You tell me. I wanted to speak. Because that still means more to the kids. We don't realize it. You might not see the children walking. I call these doggone children crossing Glenwood, come down here or get on. Am I lying? I call them there right now. They over on so-and-so's yard. When they get around there, tell them to stay off of them folk yard.
That's right.
Now, that's the feeling right there.
There you go.
Yeah, they come down there and hey, get that junk up. You don't live over here. You know, so the film means a lot. I raised my kids there. And out of that, we have plenty of kids. James said like his kids, they're in the military. You see what I'm saying? We got doctors. We have got some lawyers out of there. We've got basketball players. We got folks that's gone on to college, back teachers. So yes, that is something special. That is a special building to the community.
Yeah, that was good. I think it's 101.
Hello, everyone. I'm David Crutcher, and I was the first facility manager at Glenwood Center back in 1976 when it opened up. And I found that community to be very diverse, very engaging, loving. The people work so well together. Not whites, not blacks, a few Hispanic, not many, but they work so well together. One of the things they had was community leaders. They had group, neighborhood association, they had a Glenwood Improvement League. These people helped me out so much. Ms. Kilpatrick was the president at the time. Ms. Kilpatrick, hold your hand up, please. Just a sweetheart lady. They supported that center so much. So the kids came to the center. We had over 100 to 150 per day. Now, I know it's changed over the years with the amount of kids may attend a facility, but facilities are very important to those kids. They want a place to go where they feel safe and they can have fun. That's it. That's all they want. They don't care what the adults think, how they throw their money or whatever. They want to have fun. They want to engage with their own peer group. That's what's needed, no matter where it's at. I'm not here to say Glenwood Center should be here and do this, do that. And I love Glenwood Center because I work there, and I love that community, and I still love it, although I grew up on the other side of town. What I did with Notre Dame, we have a minimal understanding. They utilize our gymnasium sometimes. They use our tennis courts. We use their softball field. We use their football field. We have a great relationship. But you build relationship by talking with people, not texting and waving. I'm on talk to people. You communicate. That's the way you build relationship. When the city does things, and even back in the 70s when I first started working, sometimes they would do some things and I'm wondering, why would they do that? Why did they talk to the people? And all administrations I worked under, when those that talk with people beforehand were much better than those talk later. I saw that all the time. So my thing was, I want to talk to people firsthand. And let's see what's going on. What is their mindset? I tell people all the time, your center directors, they're the pulse of the community. They know everything that's going on. Remember, dope out, every out in the store, shop, they know it. Good kids don't tell them. Those are people you talk to get information. But they're not there just to give information, they're there to help that community. And I am so glad I had the opportunity to work with so many good people. And a lot of them in this room now. And those I work with, would you please just stand up for a minute? Those I work with, just stand up. Very good people. They didn't get in it because of a paycheck. They got in it because they had a love for other people, and kids in particular. And that's what's needed when you're going to work with kids. You got to come from the heart. Not, I want to make $1, I want to make $100. No. You're there to yield, not to receive. So all I'm saying is this, that's a very proud community up there, a lot of good people. And no matter what is done, that community is still going to survive. So they're tough, they got guts, they're going to be there. Now, Orange Grove has a lot of things down here, and I'm just learning some of them in the last few days myself. A swimming pool, big gymnasium, all these things. Those are good assets, great assets. Why didn't they put it swimming pool in Avondale?
Right.
And I guess because I'm a recreator, I think about things a little bit more than the average person because I'm always looking at what can be done to improve that community. Not just one community, all communities. If you go to your meetings each month with your community leaders, that is so important. It really is. But also work with your city officials because they are the ones that you elected or the elected person chose them to be over a certain area. You gotta work together. When you divide and separate, things get worse. But when you work together and care for one another and truly have dialogue, meaningful dialogue that is honest, you're going to be successful. So I just want to say a few words on that. You all have a great thing up there at Glenwood. I love that center. I saw when they redid it. It looked so nice. And I was so appreciative when I saw the people that were working there. I left there. When I left there, I became a supervisor. I wondered, what's going to happen to this center? I need to be there. And I used to go out there quite often when I first became a supervisor. I worried about the center. But then I saw as time went on how each one progressed, had programs, worked with the community, and had all these good things going. It made me feel so good. I just thank God for I couldn't work with people. They did such a good job. Not only Glenwood, but all the facilities had good people working with them that cared about the people. And once you forget the caring of others, you're lost. You don't have anything to go on. I don't want to take a lot of time because a lot of people have things to do. I would have been amiss if I had not got up here to say what I did. And I appreciate all the community leaders. I appreciate all the elected officials because when you work together, you're going to accomplish a lot. I want to say one thing on communication real quick, and this is a good one. Most people like this when I say it. There was this young man, about the early 20s, left home, left his mom and dad to go overseas. He went into a country that had exotic everything, exotic birds, exotic flowers, exotic fish, all these things. He was so excited. It was in the month of November. So he said, I'm going to send my mom and dad this bird. this exotic bird. He sends it over to the United States. Mom and Dad thinking, wow, we got this bird. I saw them send it for Thanksgiving. So they had the bird stuffed, cooked, and they ate it. Well, the son calls home and says, Mom, Dad, I thought I'd call and say, happy Thanksgiving. And I'll say, what do you think about that bird? Dad's, oh, son, that bird was delicious. It was so good. Son, wait, Dad, you ate the bird? Dad said, well, yeah, son, that's why you said it. The son said, Dad, no, you don't understand. He said, you don't understand what, son? He said, Dad, that bird can speak 3 different languages. Dad said, you should have said something. Thank you very much.
I've been living in Glenwood for 40 years, and please do not close Glenwood Center. We need that for our black children. Do not close it. Thank you.
One more question. I have a question. So why would you be closing? Why would it be entertained that you would be closing Glenwood? Is it because of location, or outgrown, or just this idea to be entertained? Like, what was the initial, oh, hey, we may consider closing Glenwood?
Yeah.
What was that initial reasoning to be?
Well, as Mara mentioned earlier, when we were approached by Orange Grove about having all this facility and how that finding someone that could benefit from using the facility, if it wasn't the city, someone outside the city. So that's how the dialogue began in terms of what the possibilities of using the facility and everything around it, how it could be, how it could benefit from it.
Orange Grove just basically want the city to bail them out. It comes back to money. They want to bail out, but they have a financial problem. So they looking for somebody just to come and bail them out. You gotta look at Glenwood Center, the location. Look at it. You have Glenwood Center, Copper Center, East Dale, East Lake. I can go on, Washington Hills. All these cities have been there. And they need to stay.
We've heard you cry. Thank you very much. Finish yours.
So everybody can hear me. So my second part of that question would be, could the conversation be, since this place has great facilities, as far as the pool and the gym and some of the other things that the other centers don't have, could the conversation be like the gentleman said, a partnership with the YFC, the YFD, that all of your centers, if there's something here that they don't have, that you can use the program here?
Yes, that should be a discussion.
Not just concentrated on Glenwood, but say, if one of the other facilities wanted to have a.
Absolutely, that can be a part of the discussion going forward. Some dialogue about that. That's why we're here, to talk about ideas and how this facility could be used, how the community could benefit more than what is existing at Glenwood, and how to help improve the situation.
And do your numbers show that an auxiliary facility could be necessary? I mean, like.
We'd have to take a look at that in terms of the needs and the number of people that's frequenting the facility.
Yeah, and the reason why I said this, because I'm at Ranger Track a lot.
Yeah.
And people say they want swimming programs, they say they want certain things, but then it comes to Tuesday at 2 o'clock, that's what it is, nobody's there. So it's kind of like, it may be shouted that this is what we need, but then when the actual programs are there, and, you guys may lease the pool or lease something, then nobody's there. So it's, that's kind of a hard battle of saying, yeah, we're gonna put this program, we don't want to use it.
Yes, it's open for discussion, so thank you for that idea. We will definitely move in a way that will continue to hear. We can't hear everybody today, but if you have some concerns, you can email, our office and share. Yes. Come on.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I just want to say that Glenwood is valuable. I do not want it to end. I think it should continue. If you need something to do with this facility, I think you need to find something else. Don't move our children here. This building is extremely old. I've heard it has a lot of problems. I don't think this is a good move for our children and for our center. Our children need to stay where they are. They are happy there. Find something else to do with this center. Leave Glenwood Center alone.
I have one other thing to say before our president speaks. When Mayor Burke was running for office the first time, I mentioned the Glenwood Center leaking and how the rain was actually coming down the walls in the gym. He did send someone over there. They had buckets and everything. I know Ed, I know all the presidents of the Glenwood Neighborhood Association have tried to get a roof on that gym. It was never intended. This was the first time Mayor Burke ran. It was never the intention of doing anything with that building. They needed the floors fixed. Nothing was ever done. Every president from the time Mayor Burke ran for mayor is asked him to put a roof on the building and fix the floors. He's been there for almost how many years? Okay, that's it. And then we were supposed to have an advisory committee. We never had an advisory committee to talk about what we wanted from the neighborhood in that center. Never had an advisory committee. I was, of course, when it was mentioned, and I never been called. And then the swimming pool. When we were planning the Avondale Center, I said, we need a swimming pool over here. The only pool inside swimming pool we have is at Glenwood and Southside. I was told by one of Mayor Burke's people who was at the planning session, Mayor Burke said we have enough swimming pools. So I'm not impressed by the pool they have over here because it could have been put in the Avondale Center. But we had too many swimming pools. They could go to Warner Park and other places. So I just wanted to say that before our president spoke. And I want to thank you for coming out and having your say, because this is the forum to have it, not on your phones and not at home. That's right.
Hello everyone, thank you for coming out. I'm Billy Reynolds. I'm the 2019 Glenwood I'm the president of the Glenwood Neighborhood Association for 2019. Thank you to Lerone and Maura and everyone for coming, and Mr. McKinney, sorry you got cut short, but thank you to for coming to tell us.
I can't hear you. Put the microphone.
Put the microphone up. Slow down.
Thank you all for coming. I'm Billy Reynolds. I'm the 2019 president of the Glenwood Neighborhood Association. I just wanted to say thank you to all of you for coming on behalf of the neighborhood. I love the area. I have my first home here. I've been here for about 7 years now. But thank you for all coming to voice your opinions for the matter. Thank you to Lerone and Maura and to the city for coming to tell us about what the idea would look like. A few things I wanted to mention are, I guess I had also called in that city staff or someone had been told that they had to move out of the center by August 2nd, but I guess that was hearsay, so unless anyone else has any more documentation of that, I guess that's just hearsay. But I'm really glad to hear that there's no sale and it hasn't been budgeted. I applaud the city for that because it's not on their budget, so it's not in their plan yet. So our voices still count, at least in terms of money spending. But just as a president, I would just ask the city to keep putting the same amount of resources into the neighborhood. I think that's what we're all here for. We want to see the same good programming or better, and the same money or better. I think we can all agree on that. But I have no idea that moving here would be leasing rather than owning the facility, and I don't see any way that could be a win. If we were to sell that facility, even if we sold that facility and put that money into programming or something, I still think it'd be a lose. I don't see how you can win if you don't have a place. One other quick thought is the YMCA currently does a lot of programming out of this facility. As I understand it, they feed hundreds of thousands of children, or at least meals to hundreds of thousands of meals each year. So I think there would also be some kind of displacement of that. As I understand it, it's probably good programming for the community. So I think moving here might displace the YMCA or something would need to be done about that. But I think the bottom line, as I mentioned, I think we want to keep the same resources here. Everyone here wants to see the city continuing to invest just the same or better into our lives, into our communities and into our families. So, children need it, and families need it, and communities need it. And again, I don't see any way that selling a building would be a substitute. Selling a building and leasing would be a substitute financially, or even in terms of our lives and connections and interactions. I did think this might be a superior facility, so I had recommended that we have it here to give them a way to show us how what it would look like. But again, I didn't know how to do these things. But I guess my last thought is, thank you all for coming here. Come to the Glenwood Neighborhood Associations each month. There's the last Thursday or fourth Thursday each month. We'd love to have you come and continue to voice your opinions and help us keep Glenwood community fuel. Sure, yeah. We have a website linked to the dealers. They set it up. Tommy and Lisa Diller, but it's historicglenwood.com. And you can find us on Facebook too, where you can like our page, and then you'll get notifications about the monthly meetings.
And we can close it out with our councilman. Okay. Thank you. Councilman. Thank you.
Hey, you guys, Mr. Robinson. I'm not up here to fight or force anything. I'm not a part of the Glenwood neighborhood. But before we close today, man, what we really need to look at is there's some people here that support the Glenwood neighborhood. Now, the people that supporting the Glenwood neighborhood, we need to really look at supporting them when it's time for them to fight for their needs and supporting them through that process. Because we've been doing it wrong for a long time, by coming to these meetings and disrupting these meetings for our personal concerns, and not going to the neighborhood association and collectively taking the approach and following the process like it's supposed to be followed. There's nothing wrong with this. I'm glad to see this many people in the room about my community in Chattanooga, Tennessee. The other thing we need to do is we need to start to evaluate ourselves when we come into these meetings, because there's a lot of questions that's been unanswered about why this conversation even came up. We know in the area that you guys stay in, there's a lot of old buildings that have contamination in it. It's hitting meetings around sometimes when these things pop up. You know, it was the same way with Boone Heights. We found out later on that it was asbestos in there. We have people living in that area for a long time, exposed to those things and dying. You got Chris Ramsey here who talks about health and those things of that sort. We know that some of these centers have mold in them and things of that sort. And we cannot put our emotions in front of our health and our well-being. So there's other questions that need to be asked when we're trying to save restored buildings. We need to make sure that we're going to the city council meeting and watching how they allocate funds. And when we see them allocating funds, we need to learn how to ask for that money. We need to learn how to write those letters. We need to talk to those people. The people inside of the room who have that knowledge and that information inside of their heads, those are the proper ways that you get things done. We're fighting for one building, but we got kids that's playing ball all over the city, and they can't even play ball in their own neighborhood because nobody's going to fall for their parks. We got kids right now where we got the baseball programs and football programs that build community. They give the parents something to do when they get off of work. They give the kids something to do when we got off work. But nobody's fighting for those things. So when we're gonna fight for one thing inside the community, we need to have the mindset and the focus to be able to fight for multiple things. We need to be able to follow the process and go in and ask them for what we want and not just make idle demands and they always see us arguing and bickering and fighting. And the other thing is you can't always believe everything that you hear. It's a thing called reading that if you go take the time to read and you go take the time to write those letters, you will get the proper knowledge that you need in order to make an informed decision. Because anytime that you're going on hearsay, you're going on somebody else's word or somebody else's opinion. And you know in life we run into a lot of problems like that. I love you all, but what I walk around doing is trying to promote unity and community and coming together and following the process the right way. And I guarantee you, if some of you guys needed funding right now, I can't get 10 people to stand up in this room that know the process on how to obtain funding from the city of Chattanooga. I don't even know if we got 5 or 6 people in the room that can even make requests on things that they want in the community or know how to do. These are the things that we should learn to empower our people. These are the things that we need to learn to empower our community. And I don't want to take no more of your time. I love you all, and that's all I got.
Thank you all again for coming out for this Dress Down Saturday. I appreciate that. We done heard some great things about what people would like to see. We've heard, some things that done got quite heated. But one thing that I will say is that the Glenwood community, if you live in Glenwood, could you raise your hand or just stand up? If you actually live in Glenwood, thank you all for coming out to this meeting. It means the world to me when I see people from the community coming forward, taking a stand, and dialoguing and great conversation about what you feel like is the best thing for your community. The people who do not live in Glenwood, thank you for supporting Glenwood. Right. So I just want to reiterate just a couple of things from just listening to everybody, because I feel like every voice should be heard, whether if you voice it aloud, whether if you send it through email, if you can write a letter. I know people don't write letters anymore that often. If you can pick up the phone and call, you can even text now, because technology just got that great for us all. So for me, as the council representative of District 9, I'm open to any way that you want to reach me. Even if you want to use social media, that's fine too. If you feel as if you're not getting the responses that you need, attach me to the email, because I may not be included in a lot of conversations, a lot of things that came out, and I gotta say for myself, I was really upset when I received Dr. Holmes' email. And I reached out to Coach Jennings, like, what's going on? And we always think as a community that we will be, council representatives will be in the know about certain things. We did not know that it was a hard day, if that was the truth. But what I can tell you is that the conversations that I have been a part of is that, hey, we want to get with the community to see what their thoughts are around X, Y, and Z. And that's something that I can't push for, because I'm the first councilwoman that'll say, I need my community to be in the know. I need people from my community to be at the table. I need my community voice to be heard, and you'll continue to hear me voice those concerns. Now, for those that may not believe that it's not true, now I've not been in a situation where I felt like that moral or Coach Jennings have told me a lie. I personally haven't that. If they have, then we'll have that discussion. But what I do know is this, is that it still gotta come past council desk for anything that they wanna push, right? So we still have to get a final check. So that's what we need, our community leaders, people supporting our community of Glenwood. Whatever you wanna have done, you need to let us know. If you want to fill out a petition, get names, signatures, hey, if you want me to come knock on doors with you, I don't mind putting on a pair of tennis shoes and doing that with you. And we gotta make sure that we're advocating and helping each other move forward in the right direction. A lot of times that Black communities, we get afraid, soon as somebody say the word gentrification or regentrification. And last I checked, the word didn't mean move Black people out of the way. We gotta figure out a way on how we gonna stay planted in the community that we are. And we gotta start doing what other ethnic groups do. If they would have said, in St. Elmo, if they had a center, we gonna close this center down, that's what they would have done. They would have went to businesses, they would have had fish fries, they would have been selling cars and whatever else they needed to do to make sure that that center got repainted and it stayed open, or they would have talked to coach, the mayor, or whoever, and say, well, we want to buy it as a community. I encourage you to think about that as an option as well. Let's pull our resources together and do what we gotta do to maintain our recreation center. If we need to have a roof, let's find somebody who can do roofs. Let's check the cost. Let's get it done. If it means that we all have to come together, not just the Glenwood community, but the people that's advocates in the room, advocate for the great things that's happening, right? Because we often, when it comes to black communities, we only hear about the negative stuff. And then one last ask before we wrap this up, Coach and Mara. I ask each and every one of you that's in this room, if you receive some information in regards to District 9, pick up the phone and call me. Please don't go on social media talking crazy. Don't send out emails. Don't go on the radio shows until you find out for certain that it's the truth. Right? Because when I come to you with the information, you're going to know that I've done my homework about it. So I just ask that you do that. Can we work on that and do that, please? Because if I don't know the answer to it, and I don't know everything at all. My grandma told me that at a young age. You don't know it all. And I'm glad that I don't, right? Because it continues me in the learning process and my growth. Give me the opportunity to serve you like you elected me to. If I don't know the answers, I'm going to go and I'm going to find out, right? And if that means even the community members that's got stake in this community, that's been here for 40 plus years, you older than me. Come educate me on the situation. Don't leave your councilwoman out to hang the dry. We gotta all work together. So you can contact me for my office number. I'll give you that. If I put my personal number out there, it'll never stop ringing. But 423-643-7185. You can inbox me on Facebook, Demetrius Coonrod. 643-7185. That's my phone number to my office. You can email me at dcoonrod, that's COONROD, @chattanooga.gov, and I'm also on social media. Now, one more request, because I know people, may not agree with what was said, and that's okay. Some may agree with what was said, and that's still okay. Please don't leave out of this room feeling like that you're mad at everybody and you hate everybody that came in here or that's sitting up here at the front. Because that's not what we need. We don't need that kind of energy. Right. Please don't go on social media bashing everybody. Right. We all had great things to say, whether you agree with it or if you're not. But if you have absolutely any other concerns, reach out to me. I am the council representative for District 9. Reach out to me with your concerns. Coach and I, we meet every week. So I will guarantee you, I will take those concerns to Coach and we'll talk about it. Coach and I may not always agree with everything, but that's the point of dialogue. Because he may can help me see things a different way than how I didn't see it, and I can help him do the same. That's what that's about. We don't always get to meet with everybody individually. That's why you have other resources and ways to communicate. Again, I'm your representative. Reach out to me. Please don't go on social media talking bad about me and my district. Please don't go get advocates to boost them up to talk about us, right? We're in it together. We love each other in District 9. And if we don't start talking and speaking positive things in our district, we're going to continue to allow people who don't live in this district to go on their rants and raving and talk foolishness about a great district, which is District 9. Thank you all for coming out again. I love each and every one of you all. You have my contact. Please use it. Please use it. Thank you.